The state of Minnesota is the home of the Somali people, in which it fulfills its natural, cultural, religious, and historical right to self-determination.
Those who bless Somalia will be blessed by God. Do you agree that Minnesota and Ohio were promised to Somalis?
I'm Somali Khai. Minnesota is the only democracy in the United States. Should Somalia participate in Eurovision? Why are so many people posting about Minnesota's right to exist as a Somali state? Well, it started a couple weeks ago. Trump made some nasty comments about Somali people. He called them, quote, garbage. And that all came less than 2 weeks after he threatened to strip temporary legal protections for Somali migrants living in Minnesota. Then we saw an uptick in ICE in Minnesota, which a vast majority of Somalis in Minnesota have been citizens there for decades.
Take me off. I'm a citizen of this country, and they take me off and they hold me, they detain me here. I don't know what they're doing.
The American Community Survey took a monthly sampling and indicated that only 22,000 Somalis in America, 8.4%, are not citizens. Yet ICE continued in Minnesota. These skits and tweets aren't just jokes mimicking Israel, also an act of resistance against Trump and his words. Somalis are saying that they cannot be stripped of their homeland, of Minnesota.
Okay, so Minnesota being the promised land of the Somali people is obviously satire, but so many people watched that video and took it 100% serious, and it's so funny to me. This commenter went out of his way to ask ChatGPT, was Minnesota promised to the Somalians 3,000 years ago? The short answer is no, obviously not. But in that same screenshot, he included this blurb about Minnesota being inhabited by native peoples. So whose land are you on exactly? Whose stolen land? Minnesota, coming from the Dakota language, which means sky-tinted water. Who belongs on this land?
Hey political peeps, I felt like I should address this. 3,000 years ago, Somalis were promised Minnesota.
I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you, okay? Somalians should be out of here.
I hear you, but I'm telling you, this is the land of my people. Minnesota was promised to us 3,000 years ago.
Somalis are reclaiming their ancestral homeland of Minnesota, and it's making people mad.
They've destroyed our country, and all they do is complain, complain, complain. Considered by many to be the worst country on earth. I don't know.
To all the Somalians who are posting video claiming that Minnesota was promised to you 3,000 years ago, that would put you back 1000 BC. You guys have an entire synopsis of where the word Minnesota derived from. How about you explain to the American people how you were promised Minnesota that never existed then to your people? Because 3,000 years ago puts you 1,000 before Christ. Given that y'all got free education, free housing, free food, free internet, may you explain to the rest of the world how you were promised Minnesota when there was no Minnesota then. Hell, Christopher Columbus didn't even find America yet. So how are you promised Minnesota 3,000 years ago? It's a legit question.
Minnesota, the promised land of Somalians. Yes, 3,000 years ago, it was promised to them, and now they are home. I've never seen a more deserving chosen people. Welcome home to Minnesota.
Hello, beautiful Somalis. I'm beginning to actually notice few of you guys on my comment sections talking about how this land is yours, especially Minnesota. My major question for you guys, if you see that this land is for you guys 3,000 years ago, you never existed at that very point in time in the United States. Never did. You see, Somalians are beginning to actually exist in the United States in 1920, and they came as sailors. Then in 1960, students are beginning to come into the land for education. And now, I do not understand when you guys are beginning to claim rubbish that 3,000 years, or some are saying 5,000 years ago, this land has been given to us. Somalians, especially Minnesota never existed at that very point in time.
Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Rose M React. Thank you so much for your support and thank you for clicking on this video. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. Let me tell you something. TikTok has been very entertaining lately because I keep seeing videos of Somalis in the US saying Minnesota our promised land. And honestly, the confidence, the boldness, the certainty, it's almost inspiring. They talk about it like it is the land flowing with the milk, honey, and sambucas. But when you look at what is happening in America right now, that promised land talk starts to feel like a joke that wrote itself. Yes, Minneapolis has one of the biggest Somali communities in the world outside Somalia. Yes, they built businesses, homes, restaurants, mosques, and a whole cultural world. But calling it a promised land in 2025 America, during all this political chaos, deportation waves, and anti-migrant energy, that's a big stretch. It's giving kind of hope with no warranty feeling. Let's get to the video, but before, let me play a few clips on the same and I'll be back with my own commentary. All credits go to the original creators of each and every video you see here. All handles are included in the description box.
So how is it even possible for that to be promised or given to you guys? You lie so much about everything. You're trying to claim a land that was never yours. Instead of you guys to assimilating in the land, you want to force your own beliefs and force it in the people of the United States. And when they say you guys to move out, you guys say, oh no, this is our land, we're gonna say we're not going anywhere. You guys have all it takes in the United States. You have free care, you have free health care, you have free housing, you have free food, you have free internet, free. I'm 100% sure that 90% of you live here freely and still getting health care, taking wealthy money from the country, and see you do not respect the land. That's where I have a problem with you guys. You do not respect the land. And now you're beginning to claim that, oh, America, the Somalians that Minnesota have been given to you guys 3,000 years ago. Are you kidding? Is this a joke? What is it with the bag of lies? You guys should, even Google can't confirm your lies. Because you never existed at that very point in time in the radar of the United States. I just think you guys should grow up and stop fooling yourselves.
You know, in America, they have a saying that no good deed goes unpunished. I'm going to say that again, especially to the younger Americans, to the youth. Pay attention. We have a saying that no good deed goes unpunished. And that's exactly what we have here when it comes to the Somalian Americans. The American people did a good deed. And now, not only has that good deed been taken advantage of and disrespected, you're also being told that Minnesota is their land and no one is taking it from them or kicking them out of their promised land that was promised to them by God. Okay, when they came over here with nothing. It was the backdooring British American, English American that gave you everything. Set you up above other Americans in Minnesota. And now that you have found a loophole and some wiggle room and you then built something for yourself by taking advantage of that good-hearted American or Americans up there in Minnesota who welcomed you into Minnesota and treated you very well. And now you're saying that their land is your land. How dare you? No good deed truly goes unpunished. Do you know how many times I'd have been being a good person? And I still am to this day. Anybody that knows me will tell you, but they tell you I'm hard on my good deeds now. I'm hard on my good deeds now. I'm dead serious. I am hard on my good deeds. And when I do them, I don't expect nothing back. That's where you really get yourself hurt. When you expect something back. But I'm hard on my good deeds.
Here's a part that people don't talk about a lot. A lot of Somalis in the US ignored Black Americans' warning. Black Americans said it over and over again. Be careful who you support. Be careful what policies you vote for. This administration will come from immigrant things. But some people didn't want to listen. They said, that's not our issue. That won't affect us. We are fine over here. Now suddenly, TikTok is full of people crying, panicking, praying, and saying, please help us. We didn't know. Now, the promised land is looking more like a temporary residence. That's the thing about America. One election can change your whole life. You can be driving today, owning businesses, raising your kids, living your life in Minneapolis, and tomorrow you are dealing with ICE, TPS cancellation, immigration lanes, and letters that nobody wants to listen. That's not a promised land. That's a lot of condition where your peace depends on politics. Even Minneapolis itself is not the paradise people imagine. Yes, it has a strong Somali community and beautiful cultural pride, but it also has high living cost, rising crime rates, heavy policing, and a history of tension between communities. This is the same city where one incident can spark national protest. It's not heaven, it's America, and America has never been a soft landing for immigrants, no matter where they come from. The funniest and the saddest part is the hypocrisy. Some Somalis look down on African Americans when they first arrived. They called them lazy, ungrateful, too political, too vocal. They said, we work hard, we follow rules, nothing will happen to us. But now, the same people we ignored warnings and posting videos saying, please pray for us, things are getting scary. And suddenly, they want unity. Suddenly, they want everyone to stand together. Life has a funny way of humbling people. Because the truth is, once anti-migrant policies start moving, nobody is safe. Not the documented, not the undocumented, not the refugees, not the students, not the workers. Everyone becomes a target. America doesn't care if you have a business, a family, a job, or a dream. When the system wants to flex its powers, it does so without blinking. So when I hear people calling Minneapolis the promised land, I just laugh suddenly. Because a promised land shouldn't have you checking your mailbox with fear. A promised land shouldn't have you refreshing news updates every hour. A promised land shouldn't have your community living in anxiety, wondering if TPS or asylum protections will disappear overnight. A real promised land gives safety, stability, and peace. Minneapolis is giving immigrants access mixed with political strength. But let's also believe this wake-up call might be good. It might bring unity between immigrants and Black Americans. It might force people to see that the warnings were never personal, they were survival tips. Black Americans were not hating, they were speaking from history, from experience, from generations of dealing with the same system. Now, some Somalis are finally understanding that you don't distance yourself from the struggles of the people who came before you. You can't think you are different or special or exempt, because when the system turns, it turns on everyone. So yes, it's funny to hear people calling Minneapolis their promised land, but it is also painful because they believed in a dream without reading the fine print, and now reality is knocking down you. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.